So, Recipes for Love and Murder by Sally Andrew. I believe it's the first one. Well, it is the first one, but I believe it's it's the first one in a quartet. I could be wrong. I didn't really look into it because there was only like the first two books available at the library. So, yeah, I'm just going to be reading those two for now, but yeah. So, Recipes for Love and Murder, it all takes place like in South Africa. So there's a lot of like African, what's the word? Well, vibe, but like wordings and such, in the names and in, well, how they explain certain things. You can tell it's not it's not English, it's African English, if that makes sense. It's that added, I'm not explaining this well at all. Basically, what's her name? Tannie Maria. So Tannie Maria, she's been writing the recipes in their, I want to say newspaper, but I'm not too sure it's like a newspaper thing, or if it's just a magazine thing, but it's also seemed to be a daily thing, so I'm not too certain about that part. But anyway, she's been writing the recipe part, but now like the owners, the sponsors, whatever, they want something different, so now she's gonna write the, well, almost a love connection bit, but that's not really it. The advice column, as it were. But she can't really let go of her, well, recipes. So all her advice comes with the recipe, which honestly, it's hilarious in a way, and also very adorable, because that's not really something you get. I don't know. I don't really write. I don't really read the advice columns. I don't think I've ever done, really, and I don't know advice columns. I don't know how they work. Anyway, I like the idea. I like the idea. But she gets a letter which basically says that she wants to leave her husband. She might be in trouble. He's probably not the best type of guy. He kind of killed her, was it chickens? Or ducks? I think it was ducks. Basically, he seems like a very violent dude. And a day passes, and this person, this woman, she's now dead. So who killed her? Who killed her? That is something usually the police gets involved with, and they do. But there's Tannie Maria. Tannie is the African word for aunt, so auntie. So Tannie Maria, she and a girl, what was her name again? Jessie? Was it Jessie? Oh, I forget. Anyway, let's call her Jessie, because I can't remember. I think it was Jessie. Anyway, she is an investigative journalist, so when she kind of sees all these mysteries, things involving this murder, they're like, well, we could solve this murder, because we have like all the clues here. They really don't, but for argument's sake, let's say they do. Basically, they get in a bit of trouble. So the killer, as it were, they figure out that these people are on the case, and it's like, well, threatens them a lot. So the one thing I did really enjoy it. It's just that it feels like, I think the Jessie, the investigative journalist person, is slightly younger, but Tannie Maria, she feels a bit like an old lady. So so basically it kind of feels like the vibe I got was, these old ladies are trying to solve the crime in their city just because it's like they're bored or something, and everything is like, well, I'm gonna give you recipes and such, and Tannie Maria, she's very much like a cook, a baker, everything. So she tries all her recipes and says that, and she tries all her recipes and such. And so there's a lot of food a lot of the time, and her way of, I guess her way of coping, it's a coping mechanism, I feel, that she just like, here's some cakes because it's a thank you, and I was stressed, so I baked. There's a lot more to it than that, but it got a bit silly at times, like too silly, with all this baking and cooking and food everywhere. It got a bit silly, but I guess it's also part of the charm behind it. I will say though, there's not all the recipes, but a lot of recipes are in the back of the book, so if you like feel inclined to it, you could make some of the things that Tannie Maria makes. So there's that. I do like when a book has, well, food and baking in this way, cooking and baking in this way, that they also put recipes in the back. It kind of brings it all together, as it were. It's a very whimsical kind of a book, and I'm curious to see what the other book is. I think the second book is like the Satanic Mechanic or something like that, and that is the only one that I'm able to get hold of from my library, so you know, I'm gonna read it and see. I'm curious to see what's gonna happen, because honestly it's weird, but I kind of love it. Yeah. The Satanic Mechanic, the book number 2 in the Tannie Maria series. Now I've confused myself. Wow, okay. So, book number 2. We know the characters. Well, we know Maria, Auntie Maria. We know her, and we know like her boyfriend-ish. I don't think they've put labels on it though, but they kind of seeing each other, kind of. Yeah, it's a complicated status relationship to this. Well, we know, yeah, we're familiar by this point. Anyway, so in this one we focus more on Maria's problems from the past, like her trauma from the past. There is like a death and a different crime-solving mystery also plot line in this book, so we still have that same vibe from book 1. We don't have as many like recipes and stuff as we did in book 1. It did go a bit overboard, I'm not gonna lie, and this one it's more, it makes more sense in a way. It's not like, I'm gonna give you sweeties because you've been good today, that kind of deal. But we do also realize more and more how the cooking and the baking is her way of coping, and she hasn't understood it, because in the beginning of the book she gets told she's fat and needs to go on a diet basically, and she's like, well, these recipes are not good, how am I gonna survive? That's basically her take on it. She does come to terms with it in the end. I'm not gonna say more than that, but yeah. So basically, the Satanic Mechanic, it's not as grim as it makes it sound, because the Satanic Mechanic, he's kind of a mechanic. He's not really satanic though, but he's also a counselor. Yeah. So basically, she gets introduced to the Satanic Mechanic, the counselor, because she needs some counseling. She gets introduced in some way, shape or form. There's a crime and then she gets introduced. Anyway, he's kind of involved in some shape as well in something else, I think. Oh my god, I'm going off now. So no, this book is more focused on past traumas, especially like sexually abuse drama stuff. In this case, her former husband, her dead husband, former husband. Yeah, so she's going through that. Now I'm actually curious about books 3 and 4. I believe those are the last in this series, but my library doesn't have it, so that's gonna have to wait, because I'm gonna have to buy them, and they are not that high on my priority list, so that could take a while. But if I ever come across them in the future, I will pick them up, because now I'm just curious to see what else this little lady it will experience. I think I like this book more than the first one, mostly because we know the characters, and we know the whole vibe of things, and also the recipes doesn't go overboard in this one. There's still a lot of them, I'm not gonna lie. And I think this one still had the recipes in the end. It has, yes, it has. This one has most of the recipes, if not all. I didn't really check. You still have that same vibe, which I like. I really appreciate that little detail to the thing. So yeah, it's definitely a different kind of vibe to the whole scene. I don't know. Basically because it's set like in South Africa, where I'm not familiar with, like, at all. I don't think I've read anything else from there, have I? If I have, I don't remember. Yeah, so yeah, I guess I can check that off my list. But yeah, because I'm not familiar with the environment, it's a very different kind of vibe, and because it's an Afrikaan character, we get the I guess slang that's prevalent in that area of the world. I don't know how to best say that. We do get a lot of the African language, as it were, which I don't mind. I do feel like that is very important to the story, because that's where we are. That's the type of characters we have. I don't understand all of it, but they do have a, what's it called, an appendix thing where it explains all the words, so you can understand and follow along. Also, it's explained in the text, so it's not hard to understand. No, it's a different vibe, but I like it. Yeah. Not like top rated, but still a decent time. Yeah, that's all I ask for, really. Okay, so because I need to set, yeah, because I hit the camera. So because that's the last book I'm gonna get of those in that series, I'm gonna end this video here. So thank you so much for watching. I shall see you all next time. Until then, take care. Bye bye.